I have the generous opportunity to introduce our first keynote speaker. So from GMR Marketing, we have Krista Hansen, Executive Creative Director from the Creative Group. So you can see her bio in your programs, and you can read that and get to know her a little bit more. As we get this all set up here, we will all stay in this room for the first 3 keynote speakers, and then we'll have lunch right away. So we all just hear GMR, Summerfest, and the Milwaukee Bucks, so hang tight.
Can you guys hear me okay? Hey everyone, my name is Krista Hansen, as Tessa so kindly welcomed me. Thank you, UW Whitewater, for hosting me. I look in this audience and I think, my God, I could be your parent, and that's kind of scary. But I look at also the amazing amount of students there are here, and your bright faces, and the futures you guys have. So hopefully I can give you a little bit to inspire you today. Share a little bit about the work that we at GMR do, a little bit about myself, and share a few of the pieces of advice that I only wish I knew when I walked out of the doors of college into my very first job. Okay. All right. So like I said, a bit about me, who we are at GMR. Why experiential? Because that's why you're all here, right? Learn a little bit more about that. And truly, that will be best represented through the work that we do and what I'm going to share with you today. And again, those couple things I wish I knew. So, you guys like hashtags, right? All my team calls me the boss lady. They think it's hilarious. But I really, truly represent only 6% of women in an ECD role. An executive creative director role really manages and oversees the entirety of the creative team. So I have about 30-some people that report to me, and it's a really powerful group of people. Brooklyn, important, she's my daughter. She's 4, and she keeps me on my toes. I've also been called a pit bull, and I guess in some ways some people have said that's a good thing. I love fearlessly. I also fight hard for the things I believe are right. I have 20 years of experience. That's a little scary, as I said earlier. I like to tout myself as a heart-led leader. I think empathy, being a leader, is really, really important. Mentorship of people is a critical part of what I do every day. I've been to 4 Super Bowls, 5 Olympics. I've worked on more than 25,000 pieces of creative over my time across the last 20 years. And every day I work to make it count, because that's important. Being true to who you are, knowing what you have conviction about, and really being responsible and accountable for what you do on a daily basis is a very important part of how you will move forward in your careers. GMR, we're a global agency. We have offices all over the world. It's really, we've grown phenomenally over the last 30-some years that we've been in business. But we truly possess a Midwestern work ethic, and that's important because we work hard and we play hard, and that keeps our culture super rich. We possess some of the top, most talent out there in the world, and I'm so proud of the people I have the opportunity to work with every single day. But one of the most important parts about what we do, we're experiential pioneers. Every single day, we strive to find something new, invent new technology, create new innovation, and that's something that has allowed us to excel ahead and truly be an agency that is followed by many others. We have a lot of values in our agency that we live by. Being innovative, as I said earlier, is critical to our success. And innovating not just in technology, but innovating in the way we do things every single day. We're incredibly passionate. We love what we do. In fact, it's a bit of a deal with the devil when you find a job that you love. But at the same time, our passions drive us in so many different ways. We work on brands and we work on products, we work on experiences that we are passionate about. So it makes it so much richer. We're an incredibly collaborative culture. We work very hard together. We have a full agency of offerings. So our teams work holistically as one massive team together. We take ownership in what we do. It's very important to, as I said earlier, be accountable for the work we do. So if you fail harder and fail faster, learn from it and move on. And we operate with integrity at every turn.
Who is GMR?
We're innovators.
We're the pioneers of experiential marketing.
We are strategists,
Behaviorists.
We're architects and builders,
artists and musicians,
designers,
Technologists.
sports junkies.
It's passion that drives us. It's behind everything we do.
We create deep connections between consumers and brands.
Whether it's live events with thousands of people or one-on-one,
we are constantly striving to make things that have never been seen.
New ways to engage, new ways to be a fan.
When you go to an event that we design and you feel the passion, you see the way people engage with it, it's an incredible feeling.
It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling.
There's no feeling like that.
It's that feeling that keeps me coming back every single day.
To consistently ask ourselves,
what can we make that people will love?
Brands know what their voice is, and it's our job to make sure it gets heard.
By the right people.
At the right places.
At precisely the right moment.
we are that moment.
Where you can feel it.
Remember it.
Believe it.
I believe it.
We are.
we are
GMR.
So let's talk about why experiential for a minute. Above the line, below the line, some of you might have heard those terms. Well, that line is really, really blurring. And, a true above the line experience, something that has advertising and all the components that go with that, is a more passive way to engage with a consumer. And while that is a critical part of the mix in which brands communicate to consumers, experiential work is also very, very critical. Marketing has changed dramatically in the last 5 years, even more so than in the last 50. With the technology that's happening, with VR, AI, the types of intelligence that we're now able to deploy across programs, it's phenomenal that the mediums in which we deliver messages are changing constantly. And the proliferation of that technology and media is only making us a culture of just micro interruptions. I'm actually so happy to see so many of your faces actually looking at me versus looking at your phones right now. But our world is that. Our phones, our screens, our devices, our technology is a huge part of our life, constantly disrupting our thoughts. So how do we deal with that? Connection is an innate human quality we all want. Whether you're from the US or you're from another country, it doesn't matter. We all want to be connected. We want to be in tune with each other as humans. And that's just a human quality that we all crave. And then there's this idea of trust. Whether it's a person, a service, a product, that information and experience is kind of squeezed through our emotional filter. And it's apparent in every single one of our interactions. But what's happening right now is this crazy micro trend of mistrust. There are car manufacturers faking their emissions test to demonstrate higher miles per gallon. There's a lot of fake news out there. There's resources everywhere telling us all these crazy things. So as consumers generally, we sort of are mistrusting brands. But as experiential marketers, we know that we can do something about that. We can make a difference because as humans, we learn firsthand. At GMR, we create live moments and we take that brand and that consumer and put them together and actually create that trust because you're looking at someone in the eyes. You're having a one-to-one interaction with them. They're actually physically, truly, and emotionally experiencing something. And that's a huge contributor to the success of experiential marketing. It's proven that people remember only about 20% of what they read or hear, about 40% of what they observe. But if they experience something, they're likely to remember 90% of the time. Those are huge numbers, guys. So when you're able to create an experience, be it something small in a one-to-one connection with somebody or something much larger in scale. That experience truly can give somebody that memorable moment. And if they remember it, they're much more likely to talk about it. And when they talk about it, they're much more likely to be excited about it and spread the word. And that's truly why experiential marketing makes such a huge difference in what we do. So at GMR, experience matters. 40 years of experience for us. We know our stuff. But it also, your experience matters. Consumers' experience matter. Brands' experience matter. And our clients' experiences matter. All of that matters. And truly, it sort of feeds this idea that we have the ability to create experience, and we have the power to really, truly change the way people think, feel, and behave, and get brands credit for that. I'm going to take you through a couple of case studies. Most of it's video, which I'm sure you're excited about, so you don't have to hear me talk the whole time. But I hope that they are going to work a little bit better. The Esurance All-Star Game is a really interesting one. So during the MLB All-Star Game, Esurance found themselves with this really lucrative sponsorship, but didn't really know how to activate it. So we created a series of experiences and a competition in which consumers could enter to win. And they could actually attend the All-Star Game, they could have all these great interactions, behind the scenes, VIP experiences. And so we pushed this out over social media. And for the first time, that All-Star Game was an entirely digitally driven ballot. And so when consumers entered this ballot information, they were able to actually be entered to win. And so we had 31 winners. This video is of two of the guys who are probably the most epic. What we were able to do is follow all these winners around, document their journey, see their experience, watch them proudly experience everything that they were able to do on Esurance's dime. And it's pretty epic. And so we were able to turn this into a great content series online, which garnered 3.5 billion impressions and more than 6 million views.
I'm Will Butella. This is my buddy Mike Duke. Love the Mariners, probably too much.
A little too much, yeah. It's a problem.
It affects our mood.
We have our respected man caves that are just slathered in Mariners memorabilia.
It's my garage, wall of Mariners fame there. Pride and Joy right here. That's an actual piece from the wall from when they remodeled a few years ago. Got Kyle Seager, autographed bat. Robinson Cano, autographed ball. A little ode to the king. One of our favorite Mariner memories is the no-hitter.
The perfect game, Felix's perfect game.
Perfect game.
We kind of have this thing when there's a no-hitter or something going on.
Nobody's allowed to move, and then it's like, wait, were you standing? We can't, we're crazy. We probably shouldn't tell you this. Anyway, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was a good game.
So first of all, I never check my email, so super lucky for me that I did. And the headline of your email said, you're going to the 2015 All-Star Game. Like, hey, we'll take care of this. You should come to Cincinnati. And I was like, totally, that's in Ohio, right?
It's also a super cost-effective trip.
Really cost-effective.
Because we can
it's
hit,
free.
Yes.
So anyway, yeah, we're looking up like who's at the celebrity softball game, and then we're like, oh, McLemore's going to be at that school. It's from Seattle, so.
Griffey's throwing out the first pitch, so
Cincinnati,
I know, I get
obviously.
it, Cincinnati, calm down, you're welcome.
All right, we're packing. Here's who's making the trip. Morrison, Cano, two Hernandez's is. Jesus Montero made his return.
On the plane. We made it. The trip out here was long, but totally worth it.
Worth it.
Cincinnati, we think.
We got up at 6 this morning. Went to brunch. Breakfast. Awesome.
Yes.
Johnny Bench, Joe Morgan there. They handed us jerseys with our names on it. Joe Morgan asked me how I was doing. And I was like, Joe Morgan, I'm good.
We learned that we can't hit
or pitch at all, but he wanted to go, so he did. And he threw a respectable 64, and then I didn't throw 64. I threw 54, but all good news after that.
Yeah, it's been just outstanding.
Dynamite. Esurance is fantastic for what they've done. To go above and beyond, like just to be like, you're going to the All-Star Game would be enough, but then all of the added stuff. Esurance for the win.
So we created that video in-house. We have a really incredible content team. So everything you're going to actually watch today is done by our team in-house. So people are generally motivated by a couple things, right? Love, money, fear. American Horror Story, FX Network came to us before the launch of the actual show a couple years ago. And they really wanted to figure out a way to connect with this genre that they really didn't know how to connect with. horror genre? How do you get to them? So we created a really powerful online program, which in essence allowed for fans to sign up to be scared. The good news is, you know, when you sign up for those kinds of things, you're like, whatever, I'm not going to win. Usually you forget. Well, all these people forgot that they signed up. So this is a little bit of there's sort of two videos I'm going to show here. The first is during season 1, which the core guy, the scary guy in this series, was called Rubberman, Supergirls. And so we created these scares, which in essence we worked with an accomplice, lipstick cammed this entire house, brought this person who signed up for their scare but forgot. They came home and then they had quite an experience.
So what's going on? Where's it leaking at?
I don't know. There's just a puddle near the washer and the hot water heater. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, Lord. I mean, go downstairs and look at it. Oh, God dang it! Oh! 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 Oh!
I remember that thing you signed
Yes,
up for.
I remember it, yes.
That's awesome.
No, it's not.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Oh. Oh. That's not cool. That's not cool at all.
You did it to yourself.
I know I did. I did.
You did it.
Oh.
You signed up for it.
My legs are shaking and everything right now.
So we conducted over 10 house calls that was turned into social content shared on social media, garnering an excessive amount of views, which truly, for FX Network, landed the most viewership ever in the launch of a TV show. This is season 2.
What if we thought you were crazy enough to be committed to an actual asylum? To promote the anthology series American Horror Story Asylum, we took over an abandoned asylum, restored it to how we imagined it in the 1960s when the show takes place, and committed 4 patients who signed up to confront their deepest fears.
You are hereby admitted to the asylum of Briarcliff Manor.
We invited horror fans to be evaluated online. Visitors to ahsasylum.com underwent an online psychological exam that probed their fears, and they could post their diagnosis to social media. At the end of the exam, we recommended they get committed. We selected 4 patients based on what scares them.
Please don't throw anybody in here!
They didn't know it, but their goal was to escape, and their personal horror story was advanced by the situations and the people around them.
You're gonna make me have to go to real therapy when I get back to Texas. No.
All 4 patients successfully escaped, and their stories were shared as 6 webisodes on social media and on the AHS Asylum website.
We hired all the actors, we found all of the participants, we found the asylum, staged the entire thing, decked it out, filmed everything with our crew. So it was a pretty crazy experience. So Victory Motorcycles, we work for Polaris. Polaris has a couple of brands. Victory Motorcycles is one of their marquee brands. Our role during the last 2 years was to essentially redevelop the brand. So we looked at the overall brand, the aesthetic of the brand, not only how the brand was, how it looked, but also how it behaved. And that was a huge part of why their brand had not been successful to date. So one of the core things that we developed as part of this program was Victory Motorcycles is about performance. It's about bold, it's about energetic, it's about power. And they have one of the most impressive power bikes on the market for general consumers. So one of the things that we decided to do was to break a Guinness World Record. So we broke the Guinness World Record for the longest motorcycle burnout, which is 2.23 miles long before the tire blew. This video talks a little bit about that.
Today we're in Orlando, Florida at the Orlando Speed World, and we're here to break a record.
I'm here today because it's an official Guinness World Records title attempt for longest motorcycle burnout.
Since the first opportunity I had to ride the new 2017 Octane, really I feel like it was built to do burnouts. It's perfect for this.
The minimum distance is 2 miles.
Who goes first? You want rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah.
All right, ready?
You get the film. This bike is the most powerful Victory ever made, 104 horsepower.
This bike has plenty of power to burn.
The tire lasting the full distance will be the question.
I think Tony's first pass was sort of middle of the road where he was not going really slow, but he was not going super fast. I'm going to go in second gear just to save you guys a little bit of time. When I saw that that didn't really work out for him.
But my hand was hurting so bad. My hand was killing me.
I kind of went to fast, which is my immediate thing to do usually in life, is to just pin it. I think somewhere around lap 5, the lever felt like it was all the way away from the bar, and I had all 4 fingers on it, and it was clamped as hard as I could. Through the pop tire and the flinging cords, and the Octane hung in there.
Joe, I can now announce that your longest distance, even with blowing out the back tire, was 2 miles, 1,344 feet, which is a new Guinness World Records title. Congratulations. Welcome to the Guinness World Records family. You are officially amazing.
Thank you. Did everybody hear that I was officially amazing?
Performance bike, I'm not sure how many of you guys ride motorcycles or know a lot about them, but a burnout is pretty important. So garnering the world record for that was a really powerful way to push out some media and social content to get people aware of the 2017 Octane launch. One of the other programs that we do is, anybody watch the Super Bowl? Does anybody know that a little shop down the road designs the Super Bowl? Yeah, that's GMR. Pretty cool, huh? It's actually one of the projects that I lead, and I'm super proud of it. To be able to get the star on your lanyard to go anywhere in the stadium the day of the game, including the locker rooms. Yeah, ladies. They won't let us in there if the security's out there, but, oh, that banner fell down. So we actually execute the decor program for the Super Bowl for the NFL, and have for the last couple of years. And the NFL is probably one of the most amazing set of clients. We work with creative clients, brand clients, and events clients, and they are a really amazing group of people. So to be able to design not only for one of the most world-class, iconic events out there is pretty powerful, but to do it for clients that are rock stars is even better. So just we've been working on this since Super Bowl 49 in Phoenix, Arizona. One of the things up in the top right there, we always want to push for something that is unique and different and changes what decor means. Decor is signage, right? But how do you make signage better than that? How do you make signage interesting, interactive, dimensional? So we decided to cut a 2 million square foot crop circle in a field right near the airport so that every plane landing with guests on it, fans ready to watch the Super Bowl, were introduced to the Super Bowl before they even got off that plane. And in fact, worked with United Airlines, and they announced it on every flight landing. Check out your right window, folks. There's a crop circle out there, and people got really excited. So we came back in the 2 weeks. So this was cut about 1 month before the game, and then the 2 weeks prior to the game, when the 2 final NFC and AFC teams were announced, they came back in and carved those names into the crop as well. So we also did Super Bowl 50, which is an iconic Super Bowl for the NFL. One of the most sort of moments in time for them and really powerful in so many different ways. You can see just in the sheer scale of the graphics we create, that's us standing in front of one of the graphics that we designed and installed. We also created 50s based on football thematics that lived all throughout the city of San Francisco in iconic locations. There were a couple of sketchy folks that went around and rearranged the numbers like Ooper Bowl and Super Owl, and that kind of caught a lot of media, but in fact it actually gave us even more presence than we probably could have given ourselves, so thanks guys. So we also design every aspect of the Super Bowl and every environment that's important to the Super Bowl, from the stadium interior and exterior to the headquarter hotel where the NFL stays, including all legend players and a lot of players who aren't playing in the game, to the two-player hotels, the NFC and AFC champions, their practice facilities, all accreditation for the thousands of staff that come in to run the Super Bowl. We get to design every single piece. So we end up developing probably about 600 unique pieces of creative for more than 15 environments. We did Super Bowl 51 in Houston last year, which is pretty impressive. And it's always about creating graphics that are more than just graphics. So it's you know, let's add some materiality to it. Let's make it much more interesting and textural and experiential in a lot of ways. Bottom right there, well, that was a sculpture that just sort of lived in the headquarter space. The lines that formed in front of that thing so that people could take their moment, take their selfie with it, was pretty impressive. And we're currently working on 52, but I can't show it to you. Sorry, guys. Comcast University. So we do a lot of work for Comcast University, and this year was a little bit different. Comcast, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, some of you in the audience might have Comcast as your cable provider and might be a little frustrated with their customer service. So part of our job is to figure out how do we recreate their brand for students specifically, as well as in a lot of other ways through sponsorship, but specifically on the university program. You know, our goal is to connect with college students in a relevant way, not be that brand or that marketer that's just trying to get and sell a product or a service. So we really wanted to ensure that this year we created the most relevant possible program. And one of the things I failed to mention earlier, but I think that is really, really critical to successful work, insight-driven work. So find an insight, something that is meaningful, a fact, an observation, data, and turn it into something that's actionable. That's really where the core of this work started. So the insight here is that college students are driven, aspirational, empowered. They know themselves. You guys know you. And you guys have plans to achieve the goals that you've laid out for yourselves, big or small. What we realize is that Xfinity has a unique set of products that can actually help you get there and give you the ability to work towards that life you're building. So our objective was to tell the story of accomplished college students and how they use Xfinity as part of that journey.
Picture the typical college student. Who do you see?
These young kids are staying at home with their parents and they're just not leaving.
The millennials don't get off the couch very often.
They want a handout instead of doing something about it.
That couldn't be further from the truth. Today's college students are driven, aspirational, and empowered. They're passionate about making the world a better place and work hard to achieve the goals they've laid out for themselves. So, to celebrate that sense of optimism, we worked with Xfinity to launch the brand's I Can campaign. Giving students at over 100 universities the power to stream their favorite entertainment included with their on-campus housing, while also forming connections with off-campus students purchasing service for the very first time. From mobile billboards, campus signage, printed pieces, digital ads, and on-campus activations, to social, online audio, and online video. Our integrated campaign brought the power of positivity directly to students and showed them the different ways Xfinity Internet and TV can help fuel dreams of any size. Whether they're finding inspiration on demand, staying up to speed on the things that matter most, or sharing their creations with the world, Xfinity gives students the tools they need to build a better future. So the next time someone asks a college student if they really believe they can achieve their dreams, you'll know the answer. I can.
Okay, Frugal Rum. I'm going to make this one short because I'm realizing very close to time. Frugal Rum was a really powerful opportunity for us to take a alcohol product, create a beach house in Tarifa, Italy, and invite a lot of social influencers and really put together a really powerful series of content that we were able to share online. I could have been on site for that one. All right, a couple pieces of advice for you before I walk out of here. First, thank you for your time today. I hope you at least took one thing away. 3 things that I think are really, really important as you start your jobs, your first careers, the first things that you do out in this world that is marketing. Be present. Set your phone down and be all in when you're working with other people. When you're multitasking the shit out of something, everybody can see it, and you're only going to get half as much as you could if you actually just be present for that period of time. So just, I know your phones are they're connected to you and you're one with your phone, but just take the moment and the time to do it. It's very important. If you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. So spend the time being diligent, doing your homework, making notes. Doesn't matter if you need to present and use note cards. The first time I presented without note cards was presentation 50 in grad school. First time. It doesn't matter. Just get yourself prepared. Be as buttoned up as you possibly can. It shows. Learn the fine line between confidence and arrogance quickly. You can be confident, and that is powerful. When you don't have a lot of experience, you can be easily perceived as arrogant. So toe that line really carefully, guys. Learn the line between professional and personal early. It's important that you focus on gaining respect from your colleagues at work versus being friends. Friendships form after 5, and that's great. I have a million friends that I've worked with, and it's very important to have those relationships, but focus on being professional first in your first job. And learn how to work smart, not hard. It will make a big difference in your work-life balance. And last, if you actually take the time to water your own grass, the stuff on the other side won't look so green. Trust me. I've been at my career at GMR for 15 years. Never did I think I was going to stay at one agency that long. I've had 4 unique roles, but I've always focused on giving myself the best that I could, learning from those around me, finding mentors, asking for help. So make sure that you invest in yourself. It's really important. Invest in your time, invest in what you know. It's going to make a major difference in how you progress in your career. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah.
We need the mic to listen to you live stream the other chapter.
which I keep forgetting and I'm super nervous now.
Me too. My question is, when seeing other advertisements relatively short, what makes short lengthy advertisements more effective?
Social content wise, or you
I
mean
guess
like the video content that we create?
Because like us watching, everything was like more close to a minute, and usually in the advertisement they're like,
Sure.
"Oh, I'm shaking."
Yeah, none of what you saw was actually built for air, so to speak. So it wasn't a 15 or a 30-second spot. It was all web-based content. So everything pushed through social media. So a 1-minute spot, unless it's incredibly compelling, because people are typically multitasking while they're watching TV, they're on their phone or their computer or their second screen or whatever it might be, 1 minute has got to be hella compelling in order for it to be important and be able to be resonate with people. Otherwise, 15 and 30s, in purely my opinion, are a little bit more sustainable for the multitasking audience of today. But I'm not an advertising pro by any means. Any other questions, guys? I think the mic is coming your way.
How do you drive people to your video content? I know you throw it out on social media, but you've had hundreds of thousands of views. How do you drive people to that video content?
In a variety of different ways. So, for instance, I'll use one example: the American Horror Story stuff. We started by connecting with horror genre bloggers, and those bloggers started to talk about what we were going to do, and started to drive some of the traffic to the microsite and get people to sign up. And then once that microsite was active and started to have some content on it, those bloggers really helped influence the story. And they were bloggers in markets across the entire United States. So they each had their own unique followings. And then those sort of secondary followers had their own tertiary set of followers. So it just spread very quickly by leveraging a blogger network at the start. What was his question? His question was, how do you get people to watch the online content?
Right. That was his question.
Yeah.
But what I was wondering was, obviously you have a lot of ideas to accomplish this goal of connecting brands to people. But across all those ideas, how do you know, and based on what evidence, which is the best way to go about something? Because everyone here working in a firm like yours would be presenting their ideas and strategies to you. Sure. How do you choose? What compels you to go with a strategy?
Insight-driven. So I think some of the greatest ideas out there are ones that are founded on a core and true insight. Whether that's a universal truth that we all share, whether that's an observation, whether that's actually a fact based on data. Once that sort of evolved and turned into an insight, and that insight informs an action, it really gives you the ability to trust that idea is actually going to resonate with that individual. Great ideas can come from anywhere, right? Like, that's one thing that we say a lot at our agency. But if it isn't founded on something that's legitimate, that actually is truly an insight that sort of drives it, we have no idea whether it's going to work or not. And sometimes it's worth the risk. Sometimes it's actually worth trying it, seeing what happens. We also do a lot of concept testing. So on Comcast University specifically, every idea we put together, we'll have 3 or 4 concepts. We'll test it with a group and a moderated group. And we pay a lot of money to make that testing happen. But it's very important because we'll see very quickly one idea rise up to the top with the core audience that we're looking for. So start with an insight, create an action from it. It's going to be strong. Test it if you're still unsure.
So it seems clear to me that your company is really interested in promoting creativity. So what is your workspace like? Is it, all cubicles? Is it really open?
It's a great question. We just, a few years ago, our new CEO, Cameron Parsons, an amazing man I'm fortunate to work with every day. He had a real vision for how we continue to put our agency into the future, and he worked with Omnicom, our holding company, to push through, hands down, the largest renovation we've ever seen in our building. So just last year, actually wrapped up about April, May of this year, we went through a total renovation. We went from 9 meeting spaces to 54. We have 15 collaborative spaces. We have technology all over the building. It's all open format, but there's a lot of meeting rooms and huddle rooms and rooms that you can kind of break off and have some privacy should you need it. But we found that it's fostering collaboration like growing weeds. It's great. Space is critical and important. Don't ever take a job on a phone interview alone. Go see the space.
Thank you very much. What a wonderful presentation.